Yo, what's up, Canada 18? This is the official DJ, James Nellis.
It's busy. Hip hop ain't dead, it lives in the north. Shout out to 18. Hip hop ain't dead, it lives in the north started out of the Crack House online radio show that I used to run. It was called Crack House Radio. Started doing promotional t-shirts, and one of the things that we came up with was the brand Hip Hop Ain't Dead, it lives in the north. Originally that was just there to support the radio show and help market the radio show, and after I finished doing the show, when I graduated from U of T, the shirts had a life of their own, and I just couldn't stop doing them because they had become a flag for everyone. So that's where they came out of. They came out of like a real grassroots community radio show. Volume 2 of the mixtapes, James came in the picture on a limited basis, but him and I had developed a relationship over the course of touring, because one of the things he does, he DJs for Peter Jackson. I got an opportunity to go on tour with them on the Busta Rhymes tour. So we got to develop a relationship at that point, and even prior to that point actually. And then he participated on a limited basis for Volume 2, and then when it came time for Volume 3, he was ready to put out a new Canadian content tape, and I was looking to do a mixtape, so he basically brought it to me like, yo, let's collaborate on like 100% fully on this and do something real special for the country.
The mixtapes, they just kind of certify what the whole flag is about, you know. Like when you see people wearing this and stuff like that, you know, it's a nationwide thing. So when you take it there and say, you know, a lot of people don't even recognize the 4 elements of hip hop. They just think it's the rappers and the beats and the music and stuff. So for us to, you know, take that and just throw it in your face, you know, in the style that we do it and the style that we deliver it in, it definitely just puts an exclamation point on the whole slogan. Me and Biz, we sit down, we figure out who's hot. Initially, it really just starts off of like what you're hearing, you know, on the street and what the buzz is, like real grassroots, man. Like that's the whole thing, that's the movement, you know. So it always starts with just what's popping in the scene, and then what we do is we assemble like a list of songs that are either submitted to us, or just songs that are, you know, not even out yet. We have a lot of relationships with the artists in the city. Him being, you know, a writer for Hip Hop Canada, and he's got his own blogs and stuff, and I got relationships with a certain amount of cash just from doing business with him, and, you know, doing radio and stuff. So what we do is we basically just take, I don't know, 50 or 60 songs, and we'll just have like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 listening sessions, and we'll just figure out what tracks are dope. And it's kind of like a tournament thing. You just kind of weed them out as you go along, and then by the time I get into the lab and I go to, you know, really put it down, you know, you just take a one last over to every song to see if they really match up to the standards that you're trying to put out and trying to push. And a lot of songs, you know, they might sound good on your laptop and they sound good when we have our listening sessions, but by the time I get to the lab, they're just not ready, you know. They're not mixed right, or, you know, the producer is like, you know, it's MP3, the quality just isn't there. So we lose some to that. We lose some just strictly based off the fact that you know, the tracks don't match up to what we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not a diss to nobody. It's not like a friend thing or anything like that. Like, it's not disrespectful in any sense. But when we're putting together the project, there has to be a certain how can I say this? There's got to be a certain vibe and a certain tone and a certain, you know, standard that we construct it with.
In terms of how they play out, I mean, it's hard to really like call that, because I think there's over 30 artists on every volume that we've done. And I mean, but one thing that we do try to do throughout the volumes is provide different little surprises for people when they get the mixtape, in terms of the interludes and in terms of like how we put together records, or breaking records on the tape and showing you things that are about to be big records, and getting commentary from people. Like we've had interludes from Spliff Star to DJ Respect to Scott Jackson to King of the Dot, like live King of the Dot battle snippets that we took.
Stylistically, there's no style other than the rugged hip hop style, you know. It's like, it's just exactly, it's like everything you hear on them, you know, them mixtape that those US cats be putting out, and I dig it. Like, I get it, you know. I know why they put that out, but like when I hear a mixtape, I want, and there's a DJ hosting a mixtape, I want the tracks to be mixed. You know what I'm saying? I want things to be like done according to how my interpretation of a mixtape is. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people got caught up in the digital era where it was more about just throwing stuff out there as opposed to really quality control. You know, yeah, you can put out 30 mixtapes in 30 days, But are any of them really remarkable? Like, will people listen to this a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now?